Okay, and then Olu to I think you may share the screen. Bye. Let me get some lip gloss. Bye.
evening, everyone. I think the waitress should stop the sound. Okay, protection, please. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and I hope that everyone is doing well and has had a wonderful Thursday. It is currently 6:05 on my end, so we'll get the session started. And I'm going to be handing over to Atlehang, who will welcome everyone and have opening remarks. And for those of you who don't know who Atlehang is, she is the founder and executive director of Educate Women's Africa. And then she'll also be explaining the theme behind Cultivating the Lioness. So for those who don't know, our summit this evening, the title or the theme or the event name, if you want to call it, is called Cultivating the Lioness Virtual Summit. So she'll be giving us more background on why that specific heading or that specific title. And now I hand over to Atliang.
Hey, Winnie. Hey, such a good. I'm just looking at you. I'm like, oh my goodness, I met you like 3 years ago, and we were doing the exact same thing. For those of you who don't know, Winnie was also part of my executive team back at NMU when we founded one of the student chapters at NMU, and we are here and we've been growing together. But thank you so much. And when they asked me in the morning, was like, are we going to pray at least? Because the prayer is one of our core pillars at Educate Women Africa. We start our events and we start even our webinars with our exclusive webinars with our girls in grade 11, we usually pray. So I'm going to answer you, and yes, you're going to pray this evening. So before I start off and just introduce the theme as well as to why we called it Cultivating the Lioness, we're just going to have a brief prayer. We're a Christian-based organization, and we strongly believe that God is behind what we do. So precious Holy Spirit, thank you. Thank you for being in this room. Thank you for the women that are in this room that you have called, Holy Spirit. We pray that you will cultivate us, that we will learn everything that you want us to learn this evening. We ask this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. So Winnie has introduced me. My name is Atlehang, and it happened that 3 years ago we had this idea of Educate Women Africa on a concept document. And we have the likes of Winnie, Siba, and Debukhwa, and the rest of the team that have been there since, when Educate Women Africa was just an idea on paper. And throughout the years and throughout the months, we have had so many people reaching out to us saying, hey, actually, we want to be part of this organization, and we want to see how we can, contribute. And we're now sitting with above like 10 team members that come to us, and they learn, they explore. Some are interns, some are, practicing their qualifications, within the organization. So because I'm a Christian and I believe that God is the Lion of Judah, and because I am his daughter, I believe that I'm a lioness. And one of my assignments was to cultivate lionesses, right, in the spheres of leadership, entrepreneurship, and also personal development as a whole. And because we are women and we live in a society rather that most of the time, just credits you because of your boldness. And sometimes you feel like, oh my goodness, I have to hide my personality because I have this, bold personality, and people would think that I'm too much, or whatever the case may be. So I created this platform, or rather these type of summits, where we can have our own, community. And people say it's our own pride because you're lionesses, right? Where you don't have to, hide away because of this bold, personality that you have, or the boldness that you carry, or rather that you present, but you are welcome into this community to be yourself, to have those innovative ideas, to be bold, and to just simply be, because there is a lioness within you. And one of the assignments as well is that some women are actually hiding away because of the hurt, the pain, the trauma that they've experienced. As a result, they've been hiding that they are hiding their unique giftings. Right, so we are here again to activate the lionesses within, the courage within. Some people have great ideas, but because they've been so hurt, they've been rejected so many times, They're just hiding, but we're here to activate the courage and the power that's within you. And we do that by just preparing people, in different topics. And today our topics are going to focus primarily on entrepreneurship, wellness, career, and also finances. I'm very big on, just people being whole holistically and not just thriving in one area, but really just being whole. So yeah, welcome to our tribe. Welcome to our community. We're a community of lionesses, and we also have our young lionesses in the room. So we are not just lionesses, we have cubs, and our young lionesses are actually in grade 11. And we are looking forward to, journeying with them until they reach grade 12. I see Zikona. Zikona is one of our young lionesses, and Trish, and Itemba, and Ayanda. Yes, those are our young lionesses, and they're in grade 11. So we are raising a community of young lionesses and lionesses at the end of the day. So I hope that you enjoy the summit. I'm going to hand over to the other lionesses that actually run the kingdom, which is Zone and the likes of Siba and the many other. Actually, can I not just be a feminist? But we also have males that support the vision. Like we have males in our team. I see Joshua, I see Spa. So thank you so much for being part of our kingdom and actually supporting us. We are safe within this male, masculine feeling, and we can also feel like feminine. So thank you so much, guys. I'm going to hand it over back to you, Renee. Bye.
Thank you very much for that, Atriang. I think that was a nice warm welcome. And now everybody's got the background of what exactly the lioness meaning is and what we will be expecting in today's session. And I think now I should tell everyone, buckle up. I think it's going to be a fun ride, and we're going to be finding out so many different topics, and I think it's going to be very exciting. I'm excited for this evening to kick off. And like I always say when I do present, it's not that we're just providing this. This is also for us as team members to also take a takeaway from it, because we're never too old to learn at the end of the day. So before we get into our first session, rather, I'm going to introduce somebody by the name of Zimkita Matkolo, and she will be the moderator of the first session. So Zimkita Matkolo is a MasterCard Foundation scholar, currently pursuing her master's in Women's and Gender Studies at the University of the Western Cape. Her research focuses on the effectiveness of a gender policy milieu in local government, primarily focusing in Eastern Cape municipalities. With a background in journalism and government communication, she brings experience in strategic communication, media relations, and community engagement. As event coordinator for Educate Women's Africa, she plays a pivotal role in planning initiatives that advance young women's leadership and career growth. So let's give Zimkita Matkolo a warm welcome. And she will be talking about the topic on owning your seat at the table, building a purpose-driven career in law and beyond. So yes, at any time that you feel that you want to react, please do. I now hand over to Zimkita. Zimkita, just unmute yourself.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Renee, for that warm welcome. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Zimkita Matokolo, as Renee has mentioned, and I have the privilege I have the privilege of moderating this session. It's titled "Owning Your Seat at the Table: Building a Purpose-Driven Career in Law and Beyond." As I think I would also like some assistance from our technical team. We are supposed to be displaying our first speaker of the day. So could you kindly assist me with that, Oluitu?
It's up on the screens, Zimkita. I don't know if you can see it on your end.
Okay, so I don't think I can see it but it's fine. I'll just carry on with the program of the day. So as displayed on our screens or on your screens, our guest today, or our guest speaker for this session, is none other than Miss Isabel Matlo. Miss Isabel Matlo is an admitted attorney with the right of appearance in the High Court of South Africa and a certified mediator. She is currently practicing as an attorney at Ligege and Associates, while contributing as a non-executive director at Bukamuso Farmers Academy. Amongst the many hats that Isabel wears, she has a passion for research and has co-authored in legal publications such as De Rebus. She obtained her Bachelor of Laws degree at Nelson Mandela University, where she also served as chairperson of the Law Students Society in 2022. She is deeply committed to leadership, what we are about today, mentorship, and fostering self-confidence, and lives by the mantra, you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. We are honored to have her with us today, or tonight rather. Please join me in welcoming Miss Isabel Matlo.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I just want to check. I hope I am audible. I hope everyone can see me. I see thumbs up. That is great. Thank you so much. Just wanted to make a remark. Atlarang, that is really a great introduction. And everyone else, Wane, as well as Nkita, lovely meeting you, beautiful ladies. And I am honored to be here. Thank you.
I think now we can display, for so long we can display you can kindly share your screen, and then you display your presentation, and then yeah, we get right into it. But before we delve deeper into the business of the day, or the night rather, could you kindly share with us what drew you to pursuing law? And what purpose drives you to do the amazing work that you do?
Thank you for that question. So initially, and I will also draw reference to the fact that we also have young ladies here who are in grade 10, 11, 12 or so. I will just take everyone back then to when I was in a similar mindset. So initially, why I pursued law is I had to look at, what do I really enjoy doing? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I excel in? Where do I think I could thrive, and where do I think I could make a difference in future? And looking at all of that, I saw law as a best fit career for me. One, I was engaged in a lot of debating. I loved research. I loved standing my ground. I still do today, which I think is something very powerful, something that every woman should also have, especially in this toxic world that we live in, surrounded by men who just think that women are boneless, emotionless, and so forth. But yes, that is essentially what drove me to doing law. You know, I loved standing out. I loved putting my point out there. So that is the mindset that I had at a younger age. I looked at the fact that I also wanted to be a leader. I wanted to grow. The career, the legal profession, unfortunately, it really does require a lot of confidence. And even if you don't have it at the time that you make a decision, you definitely do acquire it as time goes on. So yes, essentially that is what I did. And I would definitely also advise the younger ones to look into your strengths, look into your weaknesses, and even the weaknesses that you have, look into how you can improve them to also best suit yourself to best fitting yourself into the career of becoming an attorney. Thank you. I think now is the time for me. You would like me to share my screen, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I will quickly just share my screen and just give a quick overview of the journey of becoming an attorney, but that is not the end of it all. If you have a law degree and you want to do something else, there are different options available. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen now. Okay, I think my screen should be visible now.
Yes, we're able to see it.
Perfect. So, becoming a practicing attorney in South Africa, as introduced, I am a practicing attorney. They are non-practicing attorneys and they are practicing attorneys. We'll get into the difference as we go on with the presentation. Okay. Now, what does an attorney do? So if you are a younger a person and you're looking into getting into the career of becoming an attorney, but you're not quite certain what exactly will you be doing. So I've tried to summarize what you'll be doing. There's a whole lot more that you'll be doing, but this should provide some sort of overview. So an attorney is a legal practitioner who advises clients directly, prepares cases, and also appears in court. So you can advise clients on contracts, you can advise clients on having a lost will and testament, and you can also litigate in the magistrate court, appear in the magistrate court, and you can also appear in the high court, depending on what kind of matter you're dealing with. An attorney also handles trust money under Fidelity Fund certificate, and they may also brief an advocate for specialized work. The difference between an attorney and an advocate, we'll also get into it later on. Now, the journey at a glance. So becoming an attorney, one, you need a national senior certificate, commonly known as a matric certificate, right? As soon as you've obtained your matric certificate, obviously, if you're in grade 11, you should have started applying by now at the various universities. You can apply for an LLB degree directly, which is a 4-year degree. Or you can apply for a BA law or a BCom law and then later do your 2-year LLB. How you make the decision, it all depends on you and also depends on your APS. I am aware that there are some students who perhaps maybe may have a lower APS to get into the LLB program and then decide to get into the BA law and then later on do the 2-year LLB program. And there are some students who have a great interest in the commercial space and accounting and all of that. They then start by doing the BCom law and then later on branch into LLB for 2 years. So as soon as you've obtained your LLB degree, then you do what we call is articles, right? So articles, you do them for a period of 24 months. Or you can do them for a period of 12 months. But if you do it for a period of 12 months, you also need to do your practical legal, your practical legal training. So that is a course that is offered by LEAD and is a course for 4 months if you're doing it in person. And it's 6 months if you're doing it online with UNISA. So it is a little bit of a journey, but trust me, it all disappears within a blink of an eye. By the time you realize you'd have been done with everything. So in addition to you doing your articles, you also need to write your legal practice council exams. Now, those are commonly known as your board exams. So when it was my time, or currently, we used to write 4 board exams, but the Legal Practice Council has since changed that rule. And as of next year, you will be writing 5 competency-based exams, which means that you'll be writing 5 board exams. You need to pass 5 of them in order for you to become an attorney. You don't have to pass all 5 at the same time. You can write 2, 3, 4, but in order for you to be qualified at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you have passed all 5 of your exams. Then after you've passed your exams, after you've served your articles, and after you've attended your practical legal training, you then apply for admission at the High Court. Okay. Now, as I've mentioned earlier on by the presenters, that there are some young people in the webinar rather, and most of them are probably wondering, what subjects am I supposed to do? Did I pick the wrong subjects? Is it too late to change? No, it is not. Now, with law, Obviously, depending on the different universities that you apply to, the most common subject that they definitely require is your English, and it has to be at a very high level. Again, you must check the university requirements. So you must make sure that your English is up there. You need to be able to read, write, argue, understand, do research. But I must warn you that even though there are certain universities that don't require, for example, physical science or accounting or so forth, whatever subject you are doing right now, you need to make sure you excel in it, because that is going to affect your overall APS. So if you are doing accounting, business, and geography, for example, you still need to excel in those subjects, or else your APS will be too low for you to qualify for an LLB program. I myself did science. Don't ask me why. I thought I had an interest in science, but then I realized in matric that I actually don't have an interest in science, you see. And by then it was too late for me to change. I realized that, you know what, law is actually what I want to do. Like I told you, I did a self-analysis. I looked at my strengths, I looked at my weaknesses, I looked at what I'm good at, and law is what aligned best with what I was good at. So that's why I would encourage you to excel in whatever subject you're doing now, and make sure your English is up there. If you're doing history, great. Also make sure you do well in your history. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So this I've explained earlier on the fact that you can do your straight LLB for 4 years. I did my straight LLB. I wanted to get straight into the career. I didn't have an interest in doing BCom law. I don't have an interest in doing BA law. I went straight for the 4-year program. However, I can encourage you that when you do apply, and so as I did, I put my LLB as the first choice, and I would put BCom law as a second choice, or BA law as a second choice, just so you ensure that at the end of the day, you must get into law. Okay, I'll move on to my next slide as well. Oh, okay, you can also do it part-time. Sorry, if you're studying with UNISA, I think UNISA does offer LLB program as well. If you feel as though you would like to work and also do your LLB, it is possible to do your LLB online. Then the practical vocational training, I already spoke about it. You can do it for 24 months, or you can also do it for a period of 12 months, provided that you do your practical legal training. Then the competency-based exams, I also spoke about them, that there are now going to be 5 competency-based exams, but do not be threatened. There is no mountain that you cannot cross. You can definitely get through it. We had to get through 4 board exams. It was tough, but eventually we made it. Then we move over to, okay, last would be your admission and enrollment. So this basically, you apply to the High Court, you prove to the High Court that you've met all the requirements to become an attorney, you prove to the High Court that you are a fit and proper person as well. You take your oath, and then you become admitted as an attorney. Now, I just also want to bring to everyone's attention that not everyone wants to become an attorney. Not everyone wants to go to court. Not everyone wants to sit in the office and deal with a lot of paperwork. So there are definitely other avenues that you can explore if you have, or if you obtain your law degree. One, you can become an advocate. An advocate, you have to go through pupillage. 2, you can become a prosecutor. If you have a great interest in criminal law, you can then also become a prosecutor. Then you can work for the state, can become a state attorney. You can work in-house as well. You can work in-house, you can work in compliance. Working in-house means that you can be a lawyer within the bank, within insurance companies. You can be a company secretary, and admission is not always a requirement. So for you to be in-house, it depends obviously on the requirements of the company. Some people take you when you just have a law degree. Some people require you to be admitted. It just obviously depends. Then you can also specialize. You can become a conveyancer, but for you to become a conveyancer, you still have to go through the route of being an attorney, and then after write your conveyancing exams. Or you can become a lecturer as well. You can join academia, get your master's degree, become a lecturer, and just impart the knowledge that you have on other people. And that is the end of this part of explaining how and the different routes that you can explore to become an attorney, and the different routes that you can explore with a law degree. I must also put it out there that a law degree is not one direction. There are many things that you can do with your law degree.
Thank you so much, Isabel. That was such an insightful session, very informative. And I think I don't speak for only myself when I say some of the things I didn't know. I didn't know how versatile law was up until now. And I'm also thinking around the conversation that we had earlier on about some other people who have law degrees that are in academia. So it was a very informative and insightful session. Wane, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Simkita and Isabella. That was very nice to hear from you guys. And I must say, I also didn't know that law was so intricate and had so many different avenues that one could take. So I think that was very insightful. And I'm loving all the reactions that we are currently getting, feeling all the love, all the warmth. If you have any questions, please do drop it into the chat or keep it until later on in the evening when we have our question and answer session. So please, if you feel that you're going to forget your question, just pop it into the chat and we'll tackle it later. So thank you once again, Isabella and Samkita. That was a very powerful session, I must say. And I also just want to take part of Isabella's words, which was that no mountain is too difficult or too hard to get over. Anything and everything is possible. So we've got a few young ladies here, and I think that word of encouragement is needed to all young ladies, even myself. Now we'll move on to our next session, and our moderator for the next session is Tumiso Ndeda. And Tumiso Ndeda is a finance professional working in investment, advisory, and wealth management, holding an upper second class Bachelor of Finance from the finance degree from the University of Botswana. Alongside her finance career, Tumiso has built a notable personal brand as a digital content creator and social media manager. She's proof that you do not have to choose between being a professional and a creative, using storytelling and digital media to make finance more accessible to young audiences. Her message to the next generation is simple. You do not have to choose, you can be both. The most fulfilling careers belong to those who refuse to be put in a box, and Tumiso is building hers exactly this way. Tumiso will also lead the session on financially fearless, building wealth, managing money, and securing your future. So help me in welcoming Tumiso Ndeda. Over to you, Tumisa. Tumiso, are you in the room?
See,
There you go. Over to you.
Lioness has introduced me. My name is Tumiso. I'll be moderating this next session as we continue tonight's theme of cultivating the lioness. This session is called Financially Fearless, Building Wealth, Managing Money, and Securing Your Future. It's really about helping us move from feeling anxious or overwhelmed about money to feeling confident and in control of it, whether that's budgeting, saving, investing, or just knowing where to start. This is the conversation for that. I'm joined by Mrs. Liz Machaba Hove, a financial advisor at PPS and the founder of LM Financial Academy. This is an initiative dedicated to equipping young people with the knowledge and confidence to make informed financial decisions and building lasting wealth. Liz also holds a Bachelor of Commerce in Financial Planning from Nelson Mandela University. I think this is the same one that Isabel went to. And she also holds a postgraduate diploma in financial planning from the University of Free State. She began her career as a financial advisor at Standard Bank. And today she's at PPS, working closely with graduate professionals on everything from retirement planning to investments and risk protection. But beyond advising clients one-on-one, Liz genuinely is passionate about making financial literacy accessible to everyone. I'd like everybody to help me welcome her into the next session. Liz, are you there? Is she in the meeting? The Educate Women team.
Hey, I see Liz is here. Liz, I'm not sure if Liz Banda, if she's joined as Liz Banda. I don't see her. But perhaps we can hand it over back to you, Renee, and just move over to this the other session. We'll try to reach Liz, and then we'll come back to Dumiso and there's a session, if that's okay with you.
Okay, that's fine with me. Thank you very much, Dumiso, for that introduction. I think you're just going to have to hold on to that introduction and then retake it for us at the end of the session. So we're going to move on to our third session, which is going to be, the moderator is going to be Apiwe Kumalo. And Apiwe Kumalo is a psychology honors student through UNISA and a graduate of the University of Pretoria. She currently serves as a wellness practitioner within the organization, where she is dedicated to supporting young fellows and promoting holistic well-being across mind, body, and community. Apiwe is a committed mental health advocate with a particular passion for the well-being of a young woman. She also prioritizes the care and support of the volunteers who serve them, recognizing that sustainable impact begins with healthy, resourced caregivers. And now I hand over to Apiwe Kamalu, who will also be tackling the topic of thriving without burnout, balancing careers, business, wellness, and purpose. So help me in welcoming Apiwe Kamalu. Over to you, Apiwe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that welcome, Renee. So I will be the moderator for the next session. Our speaker tonight is going to be Dr. Dineo Sifoloko Chitambo, who will be speaking on the module of thriving without burnout, balancing career, business, wellness, and purpose. So Dr. Dineo, sorry. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can up here.
I'm so sorry. Dr. Dineo is a medical doctor, a health coach, and professional speaker with a special interest in lifestyle medicine, preventative medicine, metabolic health, and health promotion. She is the founder of Wellness 365, a health and wellness practice dedicated to helping individuals prevent and manage chronic disease through lifestyle medicine, health coaching, and sustainable behavior change. As a speaker, Dr. Dineo inspires audiences on both health and purpose. She believes that education is one of the most powerful forms of prevention and is passionate about equipping people with practical knowledge, because when people know better, they can do better. Through her platform, The Gifted Doctor, she encourages people to discover and embrace their God-given gifts and callings, believing that true fulfillment is found when we live according to our original design. Her unique blend of medical expertise, coaching, faith, and storytelling empowers audiences to pursue healthier lives with greater purpose and intention. If the doctor is with us, hi, Dr. Dineo.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I do have a question for you before we do begin with your session.
Okay, sure.
Seeing as you take a holistic approach to well-being, how you look at balancing physical well-being with emotional and mental well-being and spiritual well-being, can you just explain to us why this approach is important and why it works?
Phew, what a way.
Hi, Dineo. We don't see your screen.
Oh, I need to show my face. Hello, guys. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. What was your question again? It was very loaded. What I think that's important is that, am I right?
Yes, why is just looking at wellness holistically important, why it works?
Okay, I think for me, it's because well-being for myself. I think a lot of the work I do is based on a lot of my own life's journey, as you'll see in my presentation as well. And I've realized in my own life that attending to all the aspects of who we are, mind, body, spirit, soul, is the only way to really become completely whole, healed, and the people that we need to be to become the lionesses and leaders of this world. So, yeah, I think you really cannot attend to one and ignore the other. It will definitely show in some way or another. So we are spiritual but physical beings that need all of those facets attended to, and hence why I follow that approach unapologetically.
Thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
Okay, whenever you're ready, you can lead us into the session.
Okay, awesome. Let me share my screen. Can we see my screen?
Yes, we can.
How do I do this? I wanted to go to like full slide. Yeah, technology always shows me flames.
Yeah, you're almost there. So there's current.
Just go a bit low. Let's go with
Yeah.
home.
Yes, not home.
You can go
You can
down.
go to the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
Where's the zoom and reducing the screen size?
It's right next to
Little
the negative
button on the left.
side. Hey, man. You almost there. Just go
on the right bottom.
right or my right or my left.
It will be your right.
To go
Right.
down now from where
At the
you are.
bottom, where
You're
you
almost there. Down.
The bottom.
There.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
No,
okay.
not that.
I'm hearing
the one
somebody
next to the Lioness. The one next to the
to
Lioness.
the book.
The one next to the Lioness.
Yes. This one. Yes. Teamwork is a teamwork. What's a wow? Yo, teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you, guys. So good evening again. Thank you, Musisiwe. I needed that clap, yo. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for the invite. And I also just want to say, geez, well done, ladies. You know, from the moment I received the invite, I was so impressed. All your emails, your documents, everything is just so beautifully designed and professionally presented. I mean, I was just like, what? Is this my home girl? Like, I was really impressed. So to you and Atlehang, to you, Atlehang, and your team, really well done. Do keep it up. Excellence onwards and upwards. So my name is Dineo. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a lifestyle and health coach. I'm also a professional speaker, and I'm the founder of a health and wellness practice, Wellness 365, still very much in its infancy. I go by the Gifted Doctor on my socials. You'll probably soon understand why. But yeah, I'm really passionate about health education, health promotion, preventative and lifestyle disease, not just because of the fact that I'm in the medical space and that's, my niche or my passion, but because I really, at least for myself, had a real paradigm shift at some point, that our health was not simply a means in itself. In other words, we're not just trying to pursue health to be healthy or for the sake of being healthy or for the sake of looking good, but actually God wants to use our health as a means to pursuing our God-given purposes, our impact, our leadership. Because in the absence of the health, there's technically, we are not there, and everything else is meaningless. So that's essentially what the center of all my work is. But before I get into it, I just wanted to ask, maybe we can type in the chat, see how our batteries are this evening. If you had to rate your battery life, some of us may be on 0, some of us may be on 50, 80. Where is your battery life tonight? Where is your energy sitting tonight? Just type in the chat there. Let's see. Our person who's responsible for the chat can let us know what's coming into the chat. Where are people's energies? Yo, 1,000. Yo, love it for the 1,000%. Sure. Please teach us. Okay. Not bad. So averaging around, wow, nearly 75. Okay, so we're not bad, hey? We're not bad. I only saw one very low number, but seems like our energy is on average around 40 to 60. And then our 1,000 extremist. We love it for her. But okay, I'm hoping that today's conversation will hopefully elevate or awaken us, to being more recharged and less towards burnout. So my story begins, I always start with my story because I believe in storytelling. I believe in knowing people's stories, because when we look at people, especially in today's day and age, we see people on social media, or we see people who are now successful or look successful on social media, on TV, wherever. It almost always looks as though things have always been perfect or things have always been good, or you just assume how they got there, So I really believe in storytelling and knowing people's stories and how people's journeys get to where they are, because there's power in storytelling and there's power in also knowing that there's process to everything that forms who a person becomes. So my story starts as a little girl. I'm born and bred in Matatiele of the Eastern Cape, small little town where Jesus was nearly born. And I was an obese girl, so I have genetics that predispose me to being obese. I also have diabetes running in the family. But anyway, long story short, went on this weight loss journey with a friend of mine just before we entered high school in grade 7. And it was really not just about weight loss, but that whole journey of starting to exercise, starting to eat healthy, starting to be more mindful about just my health holistically, really, really gave me a paradigm shift. Like it changed my life and my outlook on life, not just health-wise, because I actually managed to escape diabetes. I was pre-diabetic. I managed to obviously lose the weight, but I managed to also escape, being a very bad asthmatic. But also, I just became someone with more energy for life, more zeal. I became more creative. I had more passion for life. Like, it was a complete paradigm shift. And I knew from that point on that change in behavior that had changed my life so much was something I really wanted many more people to experience and to know was possible. And I didn't know back then that that was really forming part of what I believe is really now my calling and my purpose. But I knew, Wuti, I want to help people experience this, to experience transformational health from just changing their lifestyle. And so I obviously then pursued medicine. I never wanted to be a doctor, funny enough, but I knew that I wanted to be in a space where I would serve people. And when this health journey happened for me, I then knew, it's okay, I want to be in the health space. But mind you, it was never, I want to be a doctor, It was actually my parents who encouraged me, because they were like, you're so smart, why don't you do medicine? It's like, oh, okay, cool, if you guys think I'm good enough. And well, obviously God thought I was good enough, landed at UCT, did medicine. But I always knew, Wuti, my passion and my heart is for that thing that I experienced, right? The preventative side, the behavior change that can lead to preventing disease. And so when I started practicing medicine, I started having this sort of inner frustration. Like, I just felt like it was a system that was kind of really focused on just putting a band-aid over illness. Like, someone comes in, we give them a tablet for this. If it gets worse or it doesn't get better, we give them another tablet, and it was almost like the system that was just allowing people to be dependent on tablets and things. And there was no real space for teaching people, and no time either to actually talk to people about behavior change, changing your nutrition, exercising, etc. No even capacity to hold them accountable through it, right? It was left to the patient to say, okay, go home, you've been diagnosed with diabetes, you go see the dietitian, they give you a meal plan, it's all up to you. And so they'd keep coming back, they've got complications, they've got this, and that frustrated me. And I think that's one thing I want to alert someone who's sitting here today, maybe thinking, or maybe trying to figure out where their desire or their passion is. There are certain things for you that really frustrate you. There are certain things for you that you're like, I just don't understand why I think this person does things this way. Or, there are certain things that really weigh heavy and frustrate you. That's a signal to something that you're either called to, or something that a problem that you can solve. And so I always had this nudge. And so I would pursue then lifestyle and health coaching, because I always had this passion for nutrition. So I went online searching, what can I do? What can I study to further my, my knowledge in nutrition and behavior change? And I came across this course. I'm like, okay, let me do this diploma in health coaching. But at the same time, I was paralleling my development in medicine. So I did a diploma in pediatrics as well, or child health rather. Until eventually I then, what happened? I then got to a point where I was now at a real crossroads. At that time, I was married and I had fallen pregnant. And already in that year, I had really been grappling, because the calling was now calling. And I was like, yo, okay, but I don't know where to go. What am I going to do? Like, what do I do if I leave the space where I am now? Because it was so familiar. I didn't know anything better. But anyway, I then decided that I was not called to be where I am, and I'm going to take a leap and jump, because this is not where I'm supposed to be, especially if now I'm going to have a baby, because that means I'm going to have to leave this baby and go and do 24 to 36 hour calls, but yet I'm in a place where I don't feel like that's where I need to be, or that's where I should be. And I was not willing to do that. And so ultimately God used my baby to redirect me. So I took a leap, jumped, God being faithful, got a place in an NGO just before my maternity leave was supposed to end. And I found myself in the public health space, which is what I couldn't put into words for many years. But then when the contract, so I left a very permanent job for a very non-permanent post in the NGO. And my whole family was definitely not happy. My husband was also not happy, but he, being the supportive partner, couldn't really not be happy. But when they saw how happy I was in the work, they really began being happy for me. But unfortunately, the contract came to an end about a year and a half into that. And I was not finding any other work related to what I was doing or in the public health space. And so I came to a crossroads where I was like, okay, Lord, what do I do now? And I had two options before me. I was considering going abroad to go and pursue a master's in public health that would be funded. Oh, my husband was like, listen, you've had this passion for wellness and well-being, and you've done this lifestyle and health coaching diploma with the desire of one day opening your own practice and business. I think this might be the time to take that leap. And yeah, I was just like, it was a very big decision. So I decided, okay, let me pray on it. And so I took a pause. I prayed on it, and I got a confirmatory word in that season from God that it was a go ahead to go into business. And this is very important. Something that I've learned from my mentor, that, and I'm glad I'm in a safe space to talk like this. By the way, my paradigm is very much a Christian worldview. And so everything I say tonight will be very much from a Christian worldview. And I'm glad that it's a safe space to have that worldview. So one thing about business is it's always an assignment. It's never, I mean, we in the worldly aspect, we always look at business as, something to create money. But more than it being about money, it's always a call to solve a problem and a call to a very particular assignment. And honestly, I say these things now like I knew them then. I didn't. All I had at that time was that God was saying, go into business. Go ahead with what your husband is saying. And that is very critical, because if you don't have that word from God, if there is nothing that is anchoring your decision to go into business, it's a very, very tough thing to go into business. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the girlies. It's for the inner lionesses. And unless you are anchored on something that God has given you, on a word that God has given you, it will break you, and you'll feel like you're a failure in life. And so that's very critical. That's just a word for all of us. So then I decided to go ahead and go into business. And mind you, it was crazy because we had not been prepared for that. We had not really saved for it. We were not really financially ready for it, but I just had to obey and use what we had. Let's see, why isn't it not progressing now? Okay. And so it has been 2 years now of my little baby, my first baby, actually. No, yes, she was my first baby, because the company actually got registered in 2019. It was an idea which I went and registered and put on paper, put a name to it, and just left it there. I'm saying that to just throw it in there, that cultivating who we are and who we're going to become starts little by little. It doesn't always start as big things. And sometimes cultivating just starts as, take that idea that God has given you, put it on paper, register it, and leave it there and see what's going to grow from that. So 2019, I had registered the business, put a name to it, and just decided we'll see what happens with this. Jiggy 2023, God says it's time. So it's 2020, that was 2020, sorry, not 2023. That was end of 2024. Yes, going into 2025. So it's been 2 years now, almost 2 years. And honestly, if I can just be real with you ladies, it has been the toughest 2 years of my life. The most incredible journey of self-development. But it has been the most rewarding as well. Don't know why this thing is always okay. And so, like I mentioned, when you go into business, always know that you have a problem that you are needing to solve, and there's a particular assignment. And then I want to get into this idea of going into wellness. So the wellness space is a growing space. It's a very big space. It's actually only about to boom. But how do you then decide, if you're someone who's passionate about wellness, that which area of wellness do you go into? Because wellness is multifaceted, right? And different people have different passions. So the first thing you need to do is identify, for example, what area resonates with you, right? For example, for me, it was my own life journey. For someone, it might be a struggle that they went through, an illness that they went through. For example, I have a colleague who went through endometriosis, and after going through all kinds of doctors, medical doctors, and not getting help, she eventually designed or created this herbal smoothie, right? Which actually brought her the relief that she had never received in years. And so she's now in the wellness space, but in that area, in that arena. And so when you think about wellness, think about what wellness means to you. What is it that people need in terms of well-being that you feel you can contribute to and you can relate to and you can help people solve? Okay. And also, I think in terms of wellness, if you are thinking about going into that wellness space, start making your mark now, so that by the time this wellness industry kind of booms, you already have your foot in there, you already have a bit of knowledge, you already know the language of this wellness space, very broad space. And so when it comes to entrepreneurship, you really have to be quite sober-minded about it. One thing that I realized was that, you know, when we are in doing careers and studying all of these things, particularly for myself in medical school, there's no teaching about, you know, you potentially starting your own private practice or a business afterwards, and there's no equipping on that. And so if it's something that you are really passionate about, that you really think of doing in the future or the near future, I would say really start learning early, start learning what business is all about, what does it take to be a business owner, be wise about it. If you can, start building or start putting things into place while you are in a permanent financial position, a stable financial position, and grow this idea, develop this idea while you still have some stability this side, because it takes very, very long to build and to gain the trust of people, because you then need to start selling, right? Because that's what business is, selling and marketing your value from a place of value and not from a place of desperation, right? And I find that from my personal journey, because we found ourselves in a place where we had technically lost my income and my husband was now carrying the whole household and all our needs, the business kind of felt a very big pressure to perform very quickly, you know, and underneath that pressure, you then begin now having to sort of function from a place of desperation, which doesn't serve you or the business. And so the central message for today is really about our well-being and preventing burnout. And this is adapted from a talk I gave, I think last year, to an organization which also grooms women who want to go into business or are in business around their well-being. And the core message that I always say to people in business and just people in general is, make sure you thrive first and then you build. What does that mean? It means you don't have to be 100% healthy and well to start something or to build something, but you have to build in a way that is sustainable, in a way that can ensure that your well-being is still taken. In fact, that your well-being takes first prize. Because again, there is no sustainable business without a sustainable you. Okay, so you are the visionary. You are the one who's given the assignment. You are the one who knows what needs to happen, and you need to be around for very long to see this vision carried out for your business. Remember at the beginning, I said our health is not an end to itself, meaning we're not trying to be healthy for the sake of being healthy or for the sake of saying, oh, I look good, I don't have any disease. No, we are trying to be healthy people because we need to have energy. We need to be sober-minded. We need to be creative. We need to solve problems. We need to be around for quite long with energy, so an increased health span, so that we can pursue these God-given callings. Some people only figure out their purpose, their callings at the ages of 40, 50. The most famous people we know now only found their true calling and ideas at very old ages. The guy who started KFC was 70 when he had the idea. And so you need to be vital until those ages to carry out what is inside of you. The lioness might only come awake or start roaring at 40, at 50. Are you still going to be vital and have the energy and capacity to carry through? And so it's about nurturing your body, feeding your mind, and guarding your heart, right? We know that the Bible says we are the temple of Christ, and that we should give our bodies as living sacrifices. That means that our bodies are supposed to help us be sacrifices everywhere we are, whether we're mothers, whether we're wives, whether we are business builders, whether we are in the corporate spaces, wherever we are, our bodies are living sacrifices. And it's hard to be a living sacrifice. It needs energy and needs presence. Our minds need to be fed. Our minds need to be sober. We need to be constantly developing ourselves, becoming intellectually sharper, staying relevant. Guarding our heart means keeping boundaries. Out of the abundance of the heart flows the things of life, the things we say, right? So we need to have boundaries. Our spirit man, our soul must always be guarded. And so that is what protecting the person means. So you want to protect your rhythm, right? We live in a time where you go into social media and you'll see, oh, this one's doing that. Oh, this one's doing, this one's been posting. Yay. You start comparing your journey to people's journey. But ultimately, you need to know what your rhythm is, what your capacity is, what season are you in, okay? That's very important, because you'll start trying to perform like other people when you don't have the grace, the same gracing for what the other person is doing. You're going to want to be a content creator like Snema Dondo, but you don't have the grace to be who she is and what she's doing, okay? So rest is very important. It's something that God has been ministering to me in this season, and especially in a season where he's asking you to trust him for provision. It's like you want to go into this work mode. I need to make money. I need to see clients. But God is saying, come back, rest. Trust me in those times where you are resting. Just trust that I've got you. I've got you. But what I've noticed about rest is that we cannot be people who are productive, who are creative, who are solving problems, who get ideas when we don't give ourselves time to rest. So it is critical that if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be someone who thrives in your career, in your business, in your purpose, rest is like, it's critical. So you've got to schedule it. That's often what I say to people, schedule your rest, because if you don't schedule it, you are never going to do it. Schedule it like your meetings, because your life depends on it. Then you've got to prioritize your health. And it sounds very simple. I often say, the thing with health is behavior change is not easy. Behavior change means changing your habits, changing the way you think, and that leading to you becoming a different person. So we all know, nobody here doesn't know you need to sleep 7 to 9 hours. You need to drink your water. You need to be exercising, doing some kind of movement, eating healthy foods. But we don't do those things, which is why I do the work I do, right? Behavior change, health coaching, lifestyle coaching, because people need accountability. People need their minds renewed and transformed to the ways that the world keeps us stuck in thinking, okay? But ultimately, you have to make sure if you're going to build something powerful, sustainable, movement has to be a non-negotiable, especially for us women who after 30, it's just a steep downhill with your body, because you're going to start losing your muscle mass, which is your fat burning capacity, which means your metabolism is going to slow down. Everything just goes slower after 30. If you haven't been building that health up in your 20s, you're going to really struggle in your 30s, which is the prime time where you're starting to become creative and want to push your career and all those things. So movement is a non-negotiable. Movement doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require a gym subscription. Simple walking, simple standing up from your desk, going to the bathroom intentionally, just movement, nourishment. Food is one of the critical things when it comes to our energy, our mood, our creativity, right? Our health in our gut, but nobody tells you that. People always relate food to your weight and how you look, but nobody talks about how the food you eat is going to affect how you feel, how you think, okay? Hydration, drinking our water, can be very specific from person to person. So again, yes, do the whole 8 glasses of water per day, but also be very intentional about finding out your specific water requirement. And then sleep, very critical. Most of my clients, when they first started, they tell me, I scroll through TikTok until 10, 11 o'clock. And I'm saying, if you do everything right, sleep, hydrate, move, whatever, quit alcohol, and you don't sleep, it's like everything you're doing is null and void, because the sleep that you're not getting is going to disrupt your hormones. You're going to crave all the things you're not supposed to crave. Your body doesn't have time to recalibrate and actually lose the calories that you lose with everything that you do. So sleep, very critical, even for our minds. And so basically, this slide here is talking about nourishing your mind and spirit, okay? And here I just wanted to say that you must make time to have moments of quiet. What do I mean? Moments where you are just in a state of reflection, in a state of gratitude, in a state of quiet and calm. And that can be difficult in times where your career is very demanding, or business is very demanding, or in times of, for example, for the entrepreneur, when times are tough in the business, right? Because your mind is constantly racing. But it's very critical that you cultivate a calm state of mind, a sober mind. And that looks different for different people. Praying, meditating, gratitude journaling, stillness. But when we begin our day from a place of calm, it really sets the tone for the day. It sounds simple, it sounds small, but trust me, a week going without you doing this, you will see and feel the consequences. Okay. So let's go into a little bit into a purpose. I'm going to try and wrap up now. I think of purpose as doing what you love, or using what you carry, your innate God-given abilities, and using it towards the service of people. Ultimately, that is what purpose is, in my definition. And it's a changing and evolving definition. I think a lot of us, especially people who feel drawn to lead, to impact, to do great things, we always grapple with this concept of purpose. And I think it differs for many of us. But ultimately, I think it's very much and intricately linked to the things that are innately in you and how that really affects and impacts the next person. I truly believe our gifts, in fact, the Bible does say our gifts were not meant for us, they were meant for other people. And so the true evidence of your purpose is always how it impacts other people, what it does for the next person. So how do you get there? You would audit yourself. What comes to you naturally? What do people come to you confirming? Would say, oh my word, I really enjoyed that, or I really got touched by that, or I really love the way you dress, you have a great sense of fashion, or your words really touched me, whatever, or your art really makes me feel a certain type of way. There are certain things that people, and there will be a pattern to it, things that people always commend you on or come to you for. What holds your attention? What is the one thing you find yourself drifting towards time and time again? No one is asking you to do it. No one is asking you to spend hours doing it, but you do it, or you're interested in it. You read on it. You're stuck there. But this one, the reason why we never get to the fullness of this one is because we are people who tend to run away from ourselves in times of solitude. And so that's sitting with yourself, that reflecting on yourself, that sitting of thinking would say, okay, what do I enjoy? Not many of us make the time to actually do that. And so that's where we usually miss it. And so sometimes purpose can then become pressure, right? What do I mean? So sometimes we found our purpose and it's well and good. But sometimes purpose can also take a negative direction or a not so good direction, in the sense that you can want to function so much that you're now just functioning but no longer flourishing. And that is the danger of being leaders, I think, as well. Is that sometimes, especially when we feel like we're in our element, and we found the thing that we wanted to do, we can just be in the state of doing, but we get to a point where we're now just functioning and no longer flourishing, so no longer thriving. So we need to be careful of that. We need to be very careful of that, of just getting to a performance state. And ultimately, that is then what leads to burnout. Okay. So burnout by the WHO would be defined by these three things. And I think if you've ever experienced burnout, you would know quite well that exhaustion is a very big one. You're just tired, no matter how much sleep you get, you go exercise, you're trying to eat right, you're drinking your water, it's just you're tired, Nothing refreshes you. Even the things you love, they don't refresh you. And then another one would be just being cynical. So you'll find, Wutsi, just doing simple things at work or in your business, it's not enjoyable. You're just doing it for the sake of doing it, or you're distancing yourself from getting things done. And hence you'll then have reduced efficacy or effectiveness, right? You'll just be doing but not really achieving much, or you struggle to make decisions, or you repeatedly do the same things without sort of any outcome. And so those are typically the signs of burnout. And it's very important to be mindful of it and nip it in the bud. I always say the biggest way to prevent, again, there's the word prevent, the biggest way to prevent anything from becoming a big thing is to nip it in the bud. The moment you see a small sign of, this might be this, nip it in the bud, take a break, take a day off, do something that's different from work, whatever. Because even purpose can become tiring. It can, because purpose doesn't only include the things that energize us, but it always also includes a lot of sacrifice and a lot of giving, sometimes without immediate reward. So here I just want to put anyone at ease to say, yes, we are Christians and we believe in the power of prayer. But please seek professional help when you are going through things like this, because they do also end up tainting your mental health and your mental well-being. And we don't want people getting depressed and all of that. So very important to recognize and nip it in the bud and seek assistance. So just things to remember: notice it, pause if you notice it, pay attention, reduce your workload, reduce the amount of things you're doing, take a moment to recover. Take a moment to recover, whatever that recovery looks like for you. Is it taking a week's leave? Is it going away for some time? Is it just spending a few days in bed, sleeping, doing nothing? What is recovery for you? Is it taking a social media break? What is recovery? And then you rebuild. And so usually changing what you do, the person, and the conditions is usually a good cocktail or a good recipe to sort of nip it in the bud. And so as I close, I just want to say, as we build not just businesses, but we build our careers, build with the intent to protect the builder. That should be your first priority. If the builder is not well, if the builder is spending weeks in hospital, or is constantly tired, or gets diagnosed with a life-threatening disease, there's no more career, there's no more business, there's no more purpose. So the builder must be healthy to fulfill the assignment. So I want you to go home tonight. Think about what problem are you equipped to solve. We all have problems to solve. We all have things, that abilities to bring value to the spaces we are. What health will I need to sustain it? In other words, there needs to be a vision for your health. I think we only have visions for everything else except our health. You must have a vision for your health. It's set goals for yourself. If you don't have the word speaks about those without a vision will perish. When you don't have direction for where your health is going this year or in the next 6 months, you're not going to go anywhere. Okay. And what warning sign have I been ignoring? Are there things that you are not really paying attention to? We tend to be people who just wait until it's a matter of life and death to just simply go and get a health check. Okay. I speak to women all the time who they've not done their annual health check this year. It's now August 2026. Some of us here may be those people. It's a simple thing. Just go to the doctor, go get your health check, because it's important to know that you are well, all is well, and you rather catch something early if it's there so that you can prevent it and manage it quite early. So that we can be those who build boldly, lead purposely, and thrive holistically. And as I think of today's topic, cultivating the lioness, let us be those who cultivate. When we think of cultivating, it's something that takes a while. Cultivating the land. If a farmer cultivates the land, he prepares the land. He prepares it to throw in the seed. Preparation takes time. It doesn't always look like preparation, but it's preparation. And then the seed goes in there, and it takes time. You need to develop it. You need to work it. You need to water it, till the land. And this is how the lioness is groomed. This is how the lioness is groomed. And I think the beauty of lionesses, for me, when I thought about a lioness, I thought of an animal that has so much power. We all know lions have power. They can roar. They can become these wild, vicious animals. But as women, we are these people who lead from a place of love, from a place of grace. We've got power, but it's power and strength under control. And it takes a while to get there. That also takes cultivating, learning to lead with power, but with grace, with power, but with love, and a humility and a femininity that just makes people feel like they belong, like they're loved, like they're seen. And that's our superpower. So as you cultivate that leader within you, may you cultivate that spirit of a meekness, a gentle, powerful, but under control woman. This is how my practice can help you. And if you are interested in connecting, these are my details. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dineo and Apiwe. I must say that was a very insightful session. I think my key takeaway of that would be to thrive first and then to build. I think as ladies, we often find ourselves being so swamped and wanting to always care and nurture that we forget to care and nurture for ourselves. So definitely that was very insightful to me. I took so many key takeaways from that. So thank you very much, Doctor. And I think now we'll move on to our second session, which we were supposed to have earlier. So I'll just begin by introducing Tumiso Ndeda, which is our moderator for this session. Tumiso Ndeda is a finance professional working in investment advisory and wealth management, holding an upper second-class Bachelor of Finance degree from the University of Botswana. Alongside her finance degree, Tumiso has built a notable personal brand as a digital content creator and social media manager. She's proved that you do not have to choose between being a professional and a creative, using storytelling and digital media to make finance more accessible to young audiences. Her message to the next generation is simple. You do not have to choose, you can be both. The most fulfilling careers belong to those who refuse to be put in a box, and Tumiso is building hers exactly this way. So let's join in welcoming Tumiso as she introduces the next speaker about financially fearless, building wealth, managing money, and securing your future. Over to you, Tumiso.
Thank you for the introduction once again. Good evening, everyone. Who has introduced me? My name is Miso, and I'll be moderating this session titled Financially Fearless, Building Wealth, Managing Money, and Securing Your Future, which is all about helping us move from feeling anxious about money to feeling confident and in control of it. And I'll be joined by Mrs. Liz Machabahove, who is a financial advisor at PPS and the founder of LM Financial Academy. This is an initiative dedicated to equipping people with the knowledge and confidence to make informed financial decisions and build lasting wealth. Liz also holds a Bachelor of Commerce in Financial Planning from Nelson Mandela University and a postgraduate diploma in financial planning from the University of Free State. She began her career as a financial advisor at Standard Bank, and today at PPS, she helps graduate professionals with retirement planning to investment and risk protection. But beyond advice, Liz genuinely passionate about making financial literacy accessible to everyone. And I would like everyone to help me welcome Liz onto this stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tumiso, for that introduction. Hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And my apologies, guys. I was really trying to get back in, and technology lets you down when you need it the most. So I'm so sorry for that. When you introduced me earlier, I'm going to go on to our session. Let me just quickly share my screen so we can go on straight away. So of all the days, today was the day that my laptop has just been shutting down, and yeah, and it's not an office day, so there's nothing I can do. Yeah, thank you for that. I was like, what is happening? Like now, it doesn't want to share. How do I do this? I promise you, I used to help my mom with all her laptop issues, even her phone. And today is just not the day. There we go. I got it. Thank God. Can you see my screen? It says something went wrong.
I can't see anything on our end.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and start again. It just said something went wrong. Okay. Okay. Starting.
Do you by any chance have access to your emails? Then you can email it to one of us. Maybe we can share it for you.
Yes. I actually thought of doing that earlier on.
I think that would be best.
Yeah, because I'm not understanding. I've been having this issue even with my own work, that it's just stopping, and it's a very new laptop. I don't know what
I can bet you have too many tabs open, or you had tabs open for a while and then you didn't close it.
Maybe for a while.
For a while.
I'm always working. Like I go to bed with my laptop.
I know. My laptop also does the same, and it's usually in front of people, which is the worst.
I was like, of all the days, normally
I know.
everything is perfect any other day. And I was like, not today, devil.
It's okay. You can share it with one of us and then we can.
Okay, let me pick. I'm just gonna send it to. I think Zimkita is one person I could remember. Who should I send it to?
You can send it to me, Liz. That's fine.
Okay, awesome. Okay, sending it now. There's nothing on it. It's just the presentation, so just to save time. After this, I'm going to give my laptop a proper therapy session.
It probably also needs rest.
It's probably I know. But of all the days, literally, this was happening since morning.
Oh,
So I thought it was the heat because I was sitting outside.
oh,
Yeah.
that's even worse.
Okay, I've sent it. Let me
Right, I'm just checking out.
see if it doesn't work. So why I came back on because I changed the browser. So that's why my name was different earlier. It was using my email, Liz Banda. That's my maiden name. Okay, let me know once you have it.
In the meantime, I don't know, should I share one of the questions that popped up from the ladies?
Yes, please. That'll be awesome. So to save time.
Yes, please do. Okay, so this question is to Isabel. This is from one of our lionesses. As we mentioned earlier on, that we have a group of grade 11 learners that are here on the call with us, and we asked them to share some of the questions. And the question they asked is, how do you handle criticism and self-doubt, especially as a woman in leadership? So this is to our lovely attorney who's on the call. If you could please just chip in and answer that for us.
Thank you for that. So just for clarification, you said, how do I handle criticism and
self-doubt, especially as a woman in leadership?
It was tough. Let me say it was. Obviously during your article/internship journey, there are days where you'd go home and you'd ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Am I not? There was a point in my career where I asked myself, maybe I don't belong here because of the criticism that you would get during your training, especially. I think many people would hear that articles are like probably the worst journey of becoming an attorney. But how I handled it is I kept reminding myself why I'm doing this and the fact that this is something that I want. So you go home, wipe the tears, wake up the next morning and tell yourself that today I'm going to do better. Today I'm going to be better. If you were being criticized and you felt a sense of self-doubt, I used to analyze the criticism. And sometimes I'd find that, okay, maybe there's something that I did wrong. Maybe I didn't fulfill the instruction properly. The next instruction that I will receive, I will make sure that I prove my point. But there are also times where I felt as though that criticism was intended to make you feel small. And when that kind of criticism then comes, this is when you have to now jump in and build your confidence. It's tough. It's conversations you need to have with yourself in the mirror. If you have a great mentor, unfortunately, I didn't really have a mentor in my career, but if you have a mentor, if you would like me to mentor you as well, have the conversations with your mentor, have the conversations with yourself, and tell yourself that you can do this. You are capable. I think I mentioned my mantra is mentioned by Zimkita as well earlier on, that I'm a firm believer in, if you set your mind to do something, you can do it. You just need to ensure that it's tough. It's so tough giving this kind of advice because it sounds easy, but it's not. It's not easy, and it's something that doesn't happen overnight. So, but yeah, that's how I handled it. I just kept reminding myself that this is the end goal. This is what I want, and I'm willing to do anything and everything to overcome that. And you also grow an inner voice. That inner voice will take you far in whatever you want to achieve in life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. In essence, confidence is key. You just have to build your confidence and know you belong. All right, I see that we have our screen ready, so I'm gonna take a step back and then let Liz shine.
Thank you so much, Siba. I really appreciate this opportunity, and good evening to everyone who has joined. And my apologies again for what has happened earlier. I hope you can all understand it. Forgive me, please. But as I'm going on in this presentation, just please, if, as it says here, the Lioness Challenge, type 3 words that comes to your mind when you think of this name, Lioness. And then we're going to unpack it as we go. Can we please go to the next slide? So please type it as we go and as I'm speaking as well. So I am, I don't know, founder is like, yo, but anyway, I'm the founder of LM Financial Academy. This is my baby. I do have a baby, which is my little dog for now, but I do want to have kids. And this is my baby. I love what I do, like with everything that I have is just educating people. And you know, when you are growing up and you see, you know, as you see that there's a need for something, and I like what Dr. Daniel also talked about, that you know, finding a need and running a business is not an easy thing, but when you know that you're solving something or you're solving a problem, it becomes easy and the fire is different. So I don't think there's anyone who can talk about what they're doing and they really stepped into their space and say, I don't like what I'm doing. There's that fire, you know, that you just have within you. So that's basically what this initiative is all about. And I am a financial advisor by design. So that's basically why this came about. I started a while ago when I was still at Standard Bank, when I just started my career. But I thought now is the time to really step into this, you know. And I think it just it talks about confidence. And that's why I like the initiative that we are on now, you know, cultivating the lioness, because it's telling us that we can be whoever we want to be. Just put your mind to it and keep going. Please let's go to the next slide. So we already heard my intro and what I'm doing, or what I've been doing or currently doing. So LM Financial Academy is just to educate young people, mainly young people, but I deal with all ages when it comes to my job. So besides advising people, and that's actually how I met Atlehan. She is my client, and she's just been awesome. I'm so inspired by what you guys are doing, because you know it's things like this that really helps people to step into their light and do what God has called them to do. So I'm so grateful. So that's basically it in a nutshell. I don't really want to dwell too much on it. And that's the initiative and the mission, what we're trying to do and achieve. And as time goes on, maybe to expand to something else. But in the meantime, this is what I'm focusing on. And there's something also called Beyond the Degree that I'm going to be unlocking very soon. It's already started, but I will be sharing with you guys later on. Maybe it will be beneficial to the people that you come in contact with, the young people especially. So yeah, so I did see a few things popping up in the chat, but I won't be able to go into everything because of time. I really want to go straight into fierce, there's bold, there's brave, there's taking up space, pride, power, a force, strong, courageous, fearless, and fearless king leader. That's awesome. So it also means a warrior, a queen, an empress, a female powerhouse. That's what we are. So we are leaders, we protect, and we are financially fearless, which is what we're going to be sharing now. Please, next slide. Okay, so why does money matter? I think that's actually the important thing. And with the work that I do, people think financial planning. I'm a financial planner or financial advisor. It's used interchangeably. It's almost the same thing. So as a planner, but I know the industry, for those who are already in the industry, they'll say, no, not the same thing. They try to separate the two. So please understand that what financial planner, financial advisor is almost the same. People just call me the same thing. So anyway, just understanding why money matters. It's not just about accumulating wealth or saying I have an investment, I have savings. What is it there for? You know, as a young person, whatever that you're trying to do, and some of these things may not seem like it's a need at the time, because you're not really thinking like life ahead 5 years, 10 years from now. But we're trying to equip people to understand that these things, they matter. As much as you might think I'm just a student or I'm just starting my first job, whatever life stage you're in, it still matters. Because money creates choices. And when you know how to manage it well, you are set for life. because money actually stresses a lot of people. Whether it's a lot of money or less of it, it brings so much stress. Because now if someone has so much money, they're wondering, what if I lose it? And if you don't have enough, you're wondering, how can I get more money, right? So there's never really a nice balance, but you can create that balance for yourself by just acquiring the knowledge and the information that you need. So it gives you the freedom to do everything that you want to do, to pursue your dreams, to support your family, to build your businesses, and also retire properly. Many people in South Africa and beyond, all over the world, people are not retiring comfortably because it's something that they don't think about at the time when they're still earning an income, or to be able to actually leave a legacy for other people. Only thinking about now, I've got this cash, I'll wait for my next salary, let me spend as much as I can. But that's not what we want. We want to enjoy money for sure, but there's a lot more to do later on. Next slide, please. I'm so sorry to be giving you this one. So what does it really mean to be financially fearless? It doesn't mean you're never worrying about money, because remember, everyone who also, other people may have a lot or other people may have little or feel like they have less, they're still worrying about money in some way or the other. It's not about, wearing certain kind of clothes or carrying certain kind of things or owning certain types of cars, etc. That's just a way of the flashy way, the world way, the way that we've been taught. It's not about earning a certain amount of money. Being financially fearless means understanding your money. And I'll explain this to you because you wonder, what does it mean? How do I need to understand my money? Making intentional decisions, planning for your future, and building wealth consistently. And this is so, so vital. When you understand this, life becomes so easy. If you understand that I'm not just here to earn an income. Everyone it's like we're on this race. You finish school, you're thinking, when I need to find a job, or after that I need to do this. As a young woman, I want to get married, I want to do this, so much, I want to run a business. We're just thinking of what is the next thing, right? And that's fine, that's life, but you need to just be able to master it. When there's chaos around you, when you have this atmosphere, so you create your own atmosphere that you are peace. So everywhere you go, you carry this atmosphere with you. So it's not about what's happening around you. You've already set systems in place that hold you firm. And that's basically what this is about. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so now just going on to the first financial habits that every woman should build, or every young woman should build, is spend less than you earn, ladies. And spend less than you earn. And this is nothing to do with age. I meet all kinds of people, and on a daily basis, you get caught up. It's so true. Think about it for yourself. Personally, you think about it, those times when you feel like, hey, that money hits my account. You've already planned for it before it hits your account. And you're already thinking of all the nice things you want to buy. That's nice, that's wonderful. But as a financial advisor, and I sit with someone and they're telling me so many things, I'm just like, ding, ding, ding. Like all these lights are just going red, red, red. And that's literally where my passion comes from. When I speak to people and I hear their story, I'm like, you know what? It's not that people don't want to know, but the information is not out there. Because how to handle money comes from how we're brought up. It's so much about how you are brought up, the things that you experience. If you're always told there's not enough, guess what? When you have a lot of money, you will always be fearful of losing it. Because you are remembering that thing was ingrained within your brain when you're growing up, that I might lose it. So what do? Or maybe you have an abundance of it. So you go and buy everything, because you hear many people say, if I don't spend it now, when am I going to spend it? If I die or when I die? It's not about that. Just handle your money well. You can actually plan that next month, I want to spend all my money. I just want to do things. If you have planned it, perfectly fine. And you know that you can recover after that. That's just a way of you know your personality, your money personality. Once you understand that, you now know, because we can tell you, have a budget, have a savings, have an investment. You may not be able to really, really abide by those things. So understand where you're coming from. What is your money personality? How do you feel about money? When people talk about money, which is a conversation that many people don't like to talk about, does your blood get a bit hot, or you're already thinking, oh my gosh, there's stress comes? So those things, find out for yourself, where do you stand? And pay yourself first. I'm sure you've heard this a lot of times. Pay yourself first is basically to say that, because remember, when you've paid all your bills, you've paid everything that matters to you, you may not have a lot of bills or whatever it is that you're paying for. Later on, you are not going to remember, I need to put some money aside to save or to invest. You'd rather be on zero, wait for the next one to come in, or be left with that money and you leave it sitting in your account, than to actually say, let me invest this money that I have. So paying yourself first means you've decided that I want to put money aside and I want to build my own wealth. And I'll tell you my story. If there is time, I'll share it briefly. That gives you so much options, right? So now you put maybe 500 Rand aside. You're not going to touch this money, or 1,000 money that you want to put aside, even if it's 100 Rand. You're disciplining yourself. And then you do everything else that you want to do. Forget about this money. You can even put it as a debit order for yourself. That way, you're not going to deviate from it. And that's why having a savings account or an investment account, it gives you that discipline, because they're going to debit you. So that's the first thing that you have to do first. So pay yourself first. And then the next thing is track your spending. Track your spending. I don't really want to talk too much about that, but just watch what you're doing with your card, especially if you use your card like myself. I swipe a lot. But there's a time you have to balance it out. Maybe if you have 2 accounts, I always recommend don't open a lot of bank accounts. It's not good for you. Every banker who comes in contact with you, they want you to open an account, for sure. I worked at Standard Bank, I know it. But know what you need at that time. Why do you need 5 accounts? You don't need them. Is there money coming in? Are you running 5 businesses? If you're not, close all of them. You only need 1 or 2, 3 at most. Why do I say that? I see a sad face. Why do I say that? I'm very strict on this one, right? The 1 account is your main account. If, say, you're a student or you're working, or you just started your first job, open that 1 account. We're going to pretend as if we all just woke up today as we are born today. We've never opened any accounts. Now we're starting from scratch. 1 main one that you receive money into, and maybe you transact from on a day-to-day. You pay your bills, you pay everything that matters to you. Second one is going to be the one that you hide money away from yourself. So you can you hide money away from yourself, right? So this one, you only go to it when you absolutely need to. So that's how so it doesn't matter how much, as much as I work with graduate professionals, people who've been working for many years, they're earning huge amounts of money, right? So don't think of it like that. I'm talking about where you are right now. You might be a student, you think my money is not enough. That's fine, but have those 2 accounts. And if, say, you're earning this amount of money, 5,000, 10,000, whatever amount you're earning, you hide a certain amount that you know that, hey, when things hit, I'm going to need this. That's going to be like an emergency fund. You're going to touch that when really something urgent needs to happen. And then you can track your spending in your main account. If you're running a business, have a separate bank account. Do not run your business with your personal account. Because later on, maybe you're established, you're doing a lot of things with your business, because you don't want to stay as a small business, right? You are going to grow. So as you grow, there's taxes, maybe you want to get investors to come into your business. They need to know every little rand you've been spending and how much money is coming into the business. Many people don't know how much money is coming into their business. They're just saying, as long as there's something coming in, and then you're spending money that does not belong to you. because you consider your business as an entity and you as a person. So as much as the business is under you, you are two separate people. So don't eat from the business. Pay yourself, receive income from your business account, and then at the end of the month, or maybe you pay yourself on the 15th, take out an amount and pay yourself from there. That way, even if it's small, it doesn't matter. It matters later on when SARS are speaking to you. So you're actually doing yourself a huge favor. So anyway, track your spending, watch everything that you're buying, your swipings, etc., and then avoid lifestyle inflation. Next slide, please. So this is to say that don't be swayed by how other people are living their lives. Social media these days is doing so great. And sometimes I get sucked up into that lifestyle. I'm like, oh my goodness, what? How do they do these things? That's their life. I'm living mine. I'm building my own wealth. I'm on my own journey. Let me focus on there. Don't allow people who are wearing these designer everything, they've earned it. Just look at it that way. They've worked hard to get where they are. I'm on my way. I'm working hard. So don't fight to want to buy a designer item just for the sake of looking flashy. And then you are left with nothing in your bank account because you went and spent 50K. For who? There's nothing like that. Okay, so stay where you are as you grow. Later on, when you can afford it, why not spend, buy whatever you want to buy, but watch how you're progressing every single time. And that's what I've done personally. So all these things I share with people is some things that I have personally done for myself and I continue to do. I don't want anyone to push me to put me under pressure unnecessarily. So now, building your financial foundation, imagine you're building a house. You need to have a plan. The first thing you're going to do is you go to a what is the name? That name. The person who does not maps. And I know the person, I know someone. Architect, that's it. One of my friends is actually an architect. My apologies. So you go to speak to that person and you tell them, this is what I want. They even give you their input and this is what we're going to do. According to the law, we cannot build on there. We cannot do this. You need that foundation. So acquiring the information now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get there or you think I'm going to leave it until I start earning my big salary. No, acquire the knowledge now so that when the time comes, you've already built a system in place, you're just going to implement as you go. So have an emergency savings account, which is what I mentioned earlier, having another account that you hide money away from yourself only when it is necessary to touch it. You can even leave it until you get another income and then you continue like that. Have a monthly budget. It's not an easy thing, but for myself, actually, I've built it in a way that I don't even have to have a physical budget to follow. I know when this time of the month hits, I need to buy this and this and this. I need to go buy my groceries. I already know which aisles to go. I know the aisles to avoid. I don't want unnecessary temptation. I know not to go to Mall of Africa if my budget is not allowing me at that time. So I just know for myself that this is what I need to prioritize. This is what I need to prioritize. But also learn to enjoy as well. It's not to say when you have a budget, you are like constricted, you can't move. Even if it's just, I used to do that actually. Right now I earn a commission, so income fluctuates. When I was earning a salary before I started working in South Africa, it was like, I would tell myself, when I get this salary, I'm going to take myself out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I still hadn't learned a lot of things that I've learned now, but I still prioritize just taking myself out and enjoying myself, even if it's just going to a restaurant or watching a movie. So you know that, hey, I've worked, I deserve this, right? So you can do that, but it has to be a planned thing. And plan for retirement and don't take unnecessary debt. I know debt is very good because you need the credit score. You're going to need a lot of things as you mature and you grow in your career, but debt can be good. It can also be bad. So you just have to consult. Because of time, I can't get into that properly. Just have to consult and find out what is that I can do. Or if you need to up your credit score, you speak to a banker and they can tell you you just need maybe 3 months of paying off a certain debt, and then you can up your credit score. But start thinking about these things now. You don't want to find out later when you're actually applying for a job, or you want to get something that is important and you're told your credit is low, and you have to start from there. So start it now. Don't borrow unnecessarily. And don't forget to pay your bills. Pay whatever it is that you need to pay for. And that's what puts you in a negative when it comes to the credit score. Investing as well. There's different kinds of investing that you can get into. Next slide, please. So you can either do short-term investing, medium-term, or long-term. So it depends there's a lot of things to consider, but it's not complicated at all. You just have to speak to someone, then they can guide you. But there are also other investment platforms that you can use within the bank. So within whatever bank you use, they can tell you the options. And if you want to come out of the bank because of the interest is a bit low, then you can now find out, should I invest in a unit trust or tax-free savings account, anything like that, we can assist. So know your monthly income. That is how you create a budget. First of all, know exactly how much money is coming into my account. You'll be surprised. Many people don't actually know. They have an idea, but they're not sure. So know exactly. If you didn't know today, go and check. Go and check, what does my payslip look like? Or how much money do I actually receive every month, whether it's a stipend, whatever the case may be. And then list all your essentials. So the things that make you move, the things that make you who you are, look presentable, maybe it's for work. You need to eat, you need to have transport, you need to prioritize your food, anything that makes you to keep going. Prioritize that. Those are your essentials. And anything else, you identify all the unnecessary spending. So that's why I said track your spending. So you see, oh, I swiped at KFC, I was at Mug and Bean, I was here, I was there. You know, we like to do that. Who doesn't want to live a nice life, right? So just track it. You don't have to stop it yet. Track it and see, oh, this is what I do. This is actually who I am. I buy coffee all the time. You know what I've done? I bought this little Kauai cup. Before leaving the house, I make coffee and I put it in there. That's it. Solve my problem of having to buy coffee every time. So you just have to find ways of reducing costs. When I'm at the office, I don't need to buy coffee or bring coffee because there's coffee machines everywhere. So you have to find out, what can I do to reduce those unnecessary spendings? Takeaway. Maybe I can just plan for takeaways twice a month. It's possible. You don't have to order takeaway all the time. You don't have to always feel lazy to cook. Sometimes you have to cook. I tell myself, I'm going to cook today. I don't feel like it, but I'm going to cook because I'm not ordering anything. So you put yourself on that thing where you know I'm building something. And the foundation is so important. And lastly, assign every rand a purpose. So now when you do have that extra income, once you've done your budget, you know, oh, actually, I do have 2,000 or 3,000 lying around that I don't really need. Now find out, can I just maybe put 500 rands aside for an investment? You actually be surprised how much money you've been spending on, how much money you've used over time, and you actually have a lot to do more things for yourself. Next slide, please. Okay, so now just putting a little budget together. So you can take note of this or maybe take a screenshot. It's just a rough one, but of course, a budget consists a lot more of this. So just put your income, your needs, your savings. So there's the 50-30-20 rule, which I didn't really want to use because that is just a guide. It doesn't mean that you should follow that strictly. It's just a guide, right? So you know what you need to spend or use your money on. You can prioritize it accordingly. But if you have percentages, it actually helps you because you know exactly how to move. So you can adjust that accordingly. All right, next slide. Okay, so with investing, there is a difference in saving and investing, a huge difference. So when you're saving, you can just be putting your money maybe in your bank, like Absa has a portion that you can just put money in, like a savings pot. There's no growth on that. There's no interest. It's just sitting there, money that I'm still hiding away from myself, remember. So when you come to me, you speak to me that you have money that is sitting in a savings account, move it to an investment. Especially if it's just sitting there for no reason, get an investment because you just want. This is why people used to say, or people usually say, my money is working while I'm sleeping. That's just that. It's earning interest while you're sleeping. You're not doing anything. You just put money there and it's growing. So depending on your risk profile, your advisor will tell you it's earning 10%, 12%, depending on how long you want to invest for. So those things you can have the discussion. So short term is just, saving is just for short term. Try not to keep huge amounts of money in a normal account. That's where fraud happens. So move it to a safer investment account, especially if it's just sitting there for more than 6 months. Move it, because you're attracting unnecessary attention. And then long term is for investing, higher risk as well, but it doesn't have to be higher risk. It can be according to your risk profile, so it can be medium or anything like that. And it's designed to grow your wealth. It's usually for retirement because it's a long term, but you can also have some investments that are short term. That could be for 1 year. So short term is 1 year, medium term 3 to 5 years, 5 years and above, that's long term. Okay, next slide, please. I hope this is the last one. So when is the right time to invest? When should we actually start investing? Right now. The day you start earning an income, or maybe even if you're getting a money from a stipend or something like that, you can actually start if you have the flexibility to do so. You're not forced to. So that's why I say you can even start with a savings account that you're putting in any amount that you can put in. But when it comes to investing, there's a starting amount that you need to have. If it's 500 Rand or 1,000, depending on what company you're going with. So you just have that in mind, but the time to start is very simple. Start now, okay? Because you don't want to find out later that you could have done something else. So you can go on. Thank you so much. So the biggest financial mistakes that young professionals make is living for appearances, as I mentioned earlier, ignoring retirement, depending on one income. Let's start a side hustle, whatever that thing is, do it. Don't let those things in your mind tell you you can't. Just go ahead and do it. Not having emergency savings and delaying investing. So don't delay anything. Don't allow anyone to tell you that you can't do anything. Don't even allow yourself, and that's something that I had to speak with my mentor, with my pastor as well. And she told me these things. And I was just like, I didn't realize that we stop ourselves from progressing because we have so much self-doubt, maybe because of how you grew up, or maybe you don't want to fail. Like, I always want to be a success in everything I do, but sometimes just take the leap of faith and do it. So don't depend on just, one income now, this is what I'm doing. Find other things that you can do. It starts by solving a problem, and then you find your calling as you do so. Find out what is it. Doesn't matter, the market is not saturated. There's no other person like you. So because I am me, people like me, they will buy from me. We might be saying someone else could be selling the same product and they don't buy from them. So just look at it that way. Okay, next slide. Okay, so now when you talk about this is more for people running their businesses as well as working. So maybe you're working, but you're running a business on the side. So don't make this mistake of mixing your money with your personal money. So your business money with your personal money, and also not having a business budget. So you make sure your business, even if it's small, structure it as if it's a big organization. And also have savings for your business, have investments for your business. And don't allow yourself not to pay yourself, rather. I mixed my English there, but pay yourself basically. As I say, from your business account, pay yourself as an employee of that business, and don't ignore your taxes because they will catch you. I don't give tax advice, but I just always, we did tax when we were studying financial planning, but now all of a sudden we can't give tax advice. So just know that tax is involved in a lot of things that we do. Retirement, there's taxes there. So we break it down for you if you do come to consult and you want advice on that particular thing, right? But don't ignore your taxes, especially when you're running your business. That's very important. Next slide. Okay, I think this is the last one. So financial independence basically means waking up knowing that your bills are covered, your investments are growing, and you don't rely on debt. Don't think, okay, I'm allowed to borrow 50K, 100K. That's fine, but don't rely on that. And also it gives you choices, and you also have a peace of mind. You know that when I go to bed, I'm not worrying about so many things. Even if you feel like it's little, you go to bed with peace because you know that everything I have is covered. So I hope I've covered everything. If you do have any questions, I'm sure we'll take the questions later on. But these are my details. You can reach me on that number. I have 2 numbers, but you can reach me on here and also email me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. And I'm so sorry I've run over time and my technical, everything that was happening, but I hope you received something and that it was beneficial to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Liz, and the moderator for that session as well. I think that was very insightful to everyone. I think often when you get paid, then the first thing you tell yourself is like, anything for you, princess, which is not always the correct thing to do. But eventually it will change at all someday. So thank you very much for that, Liz. I think now we're going to delve into, so I think I'll just take the opportunity firstly to thank all our guest speakers here this evening. It was very lovely to hear from you guys and to meet you guys, and all the information that was received, I surely and definitely did learn something as well. We'll now move on to the question and answer part of the evening before we wrap up. I'm sure it won't be too long. And I'm just going to introduce the moderator who will be doing the question and answer section. Just give me a minute. So our moderator for this session is Siba. So Siba is a multifaceted woman who is juggling between being a founder of an employability organization, master scholar, and a digital systems manager. She specializes in youth development, digital learning, and labor relations. Siba is the Young Lioness Fellowship Program lead, ensuring the curriculum for our Lioness is developed in a manner that uplifts them and provides the necessary development skills they require to own their world and become successful. So now I'm going to hand it over to Siba.
That sounded so intense and so serious.
It was so weird for me to do because when I first met you, you were still studying, and now I'm reading this long thing.
Thank you again to all the guest speakers. This was incredible. I think at the very beginning we thought this was going to talk more to our lionesses, but I also learned a lot, and I need to go and just rethink everything that I've done in the past few days. But a question to Liz. One of our lionesses wants to know, what would you advise someone that wants to get in your field as a financial advisor?
Sorry, my video didn't want to work again.
Listen, Liz, it's not your day today.
I need to just go and lie down, eh? But okay, thank you so much for that question. So the question is, how do you get into my industry?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, my journey was that I'll just share my journey. Hopefully, that will answer your question. I started with BCom accounting. So it's a long story. I wanted to be a graphic designer, and I was staying in the UK then. And then I started working, did quite a few jobs. I did quite a lot of different things that I was doing, and I was earning money, guys. And that's why I was talking about having a side hustle. Find out what is it, can you babysit? Like babysitting was paying quite a lot because it was run by agencies. So if someone finds you and you can do a good job, you love kids, they're gonna pay you because they rather pay you less. It's less for them, but it's more for you. So those are the things I did. Anyway, moved on with life, and then I decided I wanted to study something. I want to get a degree because I realized now I want to earn more, but I can't earn more if I don't have a degree. I just had my A levels, and now I was pushed. I prayed, I really prayed, and I said, God, guide me, because I want to take this leap, and I don't want to be here. I just want to do something different. I applied to a lot of universities in South Africa that I've never been to. I applied, and then finally got into NMU. My mistake, and I think someone spoke about this, putting your options, like option A, option B. I made the mistake because I wanted to do accounting and finance that will lead me into banking, and I wanted to be an investment banker now. After praying, And then I changed my routine. I wanted to now be an investment banker. And I remember I put BCom account, it was accounting first option, and then finance or something second option. Big mistake. Then they put me into BCom accounting. BCom accounting, anyone who's doing that, kudos to you. It showed me flames for 6 months. And then I was like, God did not call me to this. I was doing winter school every module. Not every module. There was one module, MACC, that was showing me flames, guys. It was a lot. And then I said, Lord, show me. And it just happened that I spoke to someone who was doing financial planning. They was like, no, this is not for you. Do financial planning. You'll find out that this is what you're supposed to do. Because that was actually a very good friend of mine. I then carried on. It's a good thing I didn't have to redo any of my modules. I just did become financial planning. I just did one extra module, and that was it. That's how I got onto this journey. So I did that for 3 years. I was almost stopping, and then I was like, no, let me push. Did my postgraduate diploma. So when I was doing my postgrad, I was already working. That's why I did it at a different university. So I had already gotten an internship, then I was now doing postgrad. So it was difficult balancing, but I said, I'm not gonna repeat anything. I want to finish this thing because I felt like life was starting a bit late for me. So most of the people that I was in class with, they'd had BCom in law or BCom in accounting. So you can actually switch, but it depends if you are, depends with the university, and it also depends with if you can integrate some of the modules. So then they will allow you to say, okay, now you can do postgrad financial planning. Once you do postgrad financial planning, you are as good as a financial planner because it puts everything together. And then now you do your RE1, RE5. You only need RE5, but I was like, I'm on fire. I just did both of them. So RE1 is for key individuals. Because you know what, once you're there, you just want to get it out of the way so no opportunity can pass you by. If they want me to be a manager, hey, I'm ready. Let's do it. But you need years of experience as well. So you also need, I think, about 5 years. I'm stand to be corrected, but there's years of experience that you need to have to then graduate to that. But once you have your BCom in whatever you did BCom in, and then postgraduate financial planning, then go on to do your RE5. You're sorted. You can apply for a job anyway, they will take you. Because in this industry, education is very important at this stage. They want everyone to really have the education and then move on to giving advice. They will train you while you're on the job. There are some jobs that can take graduate advisors, or some companies rather that can take graduate advisors. So it's not an impossible thing. Very rewarding, but also very challenging. So if you want to get into that, be ready. I know I need to get her name to my moderator for my session.
Tumiso.
Yes, Tumiso. She's also in the same industry. I think she can testify that's what it is. But yeah, that's basically it.
So basically hard work and God, just that combo.
But otherwise we'd be hardworking for no reason. God bless.
Great. Thank you so much, Liz. And then our last question is to Dr. Dineo. Our lionesses want to know, how do I get rid of the negative scenarios that my mind makes about being a failure? So not necessarily them failing, but the brains keep convincing them that they are failing in life.
That's a good one. I think it has everything to do with the mind. There's this very powerful quote by, is it John Maxwell or Stephen R. Covey? I think it's Stephen R. Covey. He says, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, he can achieve. It's actually one of the quotes that carried me through matric. And we can take that even to the Bible. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And it also says we should not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but transformed and renewed in our minds. Everything begins here. Like, guys, I cannot I cannot stress that enough. Whatever you want to become, whoever you want to become, what you imagine you can become, it begins here. Everything begins here before you see it in reality. So I want to encourage us, because I know here this is a Christian community. We are people who have a literal blueprint at our hands, right? A whole booklet of affirmations that we can read to ourselves every day. And I think the problem that we do is we look for external validation. Liz just said that the key to going through all of these things is God. The minute we can start to believe what God says about us and who God says we are, and we can believe that we are in his image, we are the head and not the tail, we are the first and not the last, we are more than conquerors through Christ who formed us. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. We are fearfully, wonderfully made. We are his image bearers. How many things, guys, are there in the Bible that God says about us? Why do we hold on to what the world says? And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be your mother, it could be your sister, it could be your brother, your teacher. We have to start taking our power back as people who say we are Christians.
Hey, you're gonna make me cry. Let me just drop my camera. It feels like you're talking to me directly.
I'm about to preach, but I'm gonna keep it there. Start here.
Preach. I even forgot where I was now. Oh man, what a great way to end this. Oh,
Yeah. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
I mean, I don't think there's any other question that could even be answered after that. What a great way to end this session. Thank you so much for that response. I literally forgot that yeah. It felt like you're talking to me directly. This was really great. I think I'm going to give it back to Anne to close it. But thank you so much to all the facilitators. Absolutely great answers. And I'm pretty sure our girls are truly inspired by you. Thank you so much. Back to you, Anne.
Thank you very much to everyone in the room who has attended, to our speakers, our moderators, the team at large, our Lioness, the special and perfect group, sweetest ladies. I must say the session was really, really informative, and I definitely have so many key takeaways from this, and the way we had just ended it speaks volumes. And I must say, we started off the session with prayer, and the consistency of the faith that played out throughout the session was wonderful to see. And I think from my end, I've just got two things before we close off, that to please follow us on social media. Our handles is Educate Women's Africa. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Instagram. If you have any snippets or any keyword or takeaway from this evening's session, please do tag us with the post that you'll be sharing. And then there's a feedback form that has been dropped into the chat. Please do complete it, and we would appreciate the feedback, because we want to always deliver the very best to our participants or our joiners. So please do take the time to complete that. And then from my side, I would just like to say thank you once again, and I hope that everyone has an awesome Friday tomorrow, and God bless and stay safe.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you, ladies.